Hey, what's up? This is Scott, and welcome to What is Wednesday. In this What is Wednesday, we're going to be talking about a brand new browser. That's right, it's not every day that we get to check out a new browser, and this is one that I have been given early access to by just simply signing up. I signed up, joined the waitlist, and just got access to it yesterday, and let me tell you, I'm very pleasantly surprised. Not that I wasn't expecting to be surprised. You go to their website, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. You go to their website and it's really nice. So you kind of get the vibe that the browser is going to be really nice. But we'll get all into that and more in just a second after we take a quick minute to talk about our sponsor for this video, which is Filestack. Filestack at filestack.com is a simple and powerful file uploader API to transform, upload, and deliver any file into your application. Whether you want to upload, transform, or deliver, like I just mentioned, this gives you the option to do so with ease with a Node.js API, a Ruby API, PHP, or Python, as well as great documentation and SDKs for both, 100 times more reliable mobile uploads, and instantly available file links. The Filestack uploader can increase your upload speeds by a factor of 3.6 and provides your users access to a variety of file sources, including Instagram, Dropbox, Google Drive, local device files, real-time audio, video, and photos. Filestack intelligent ingestion guarantees upload success 99.99% of the time. That's a whole lot of time. That's just about all of the time here. And this alleviates user frustration with failed uploads trying to convert or send themselves files from another location. Honestly, dealing with files is one of those things that developers can spend so much time on, and Filestack makes it easy with image transformation and conversion of file types. Filestack CDN also allows you to deliver files to any type of device, desktop or mobile, without worrying about the constraints such as file size or file quality. And like I mentioned before, integration is a breeze with all of their SDKs and APIs. So head on over to filestack.com and give Filestack a try for free. If you're dealing with files and you want to go ahead and try something that's trusted by SendGrid, SlideShare, Teachable, and Airtable, you're going to want to check out Filestack. Thanks so much for Filestack for sponsoring. Okay, so let's talk about the browser here. The browser is named Arc. Arc is the browser. This is what it looks like. I will be installing it in just a second. I've actually already installed it and then uninstalled it because the setup process is just so cool that I want you to see it. So this is the website. It's one of these scrolly types of websites. It's telling you why your browser stinks. You open up a bunch of tabs and then, wow, okay. I'm a web developer, so this is the kind of stuff that matters to me, right? So we scroll down, look at that transition. You got to imagine that this is just a window here. This is the site below it, and then watch this fade. So you could see if this wasn't being masked, this blue would extend here and these items would extend here, and then they're just fading out the mask. How cool is that, right? This is actually a really simple site if you think about it. They're just adding these animation elements up top here, and the rest is just being done with scroll. This is really neat. One thing I love about this site is the fact that this giant pop of color here. Now, they don't really reveal too much about this browser in here, so you might not be knowing what it is, right? It doesn't even say Arc anywhere in here, I don't think. Maybe it does, but I didn't see it. So Arc is the browser. Let's go ahead and install this. I'm going to drop it into my applications. I'm going to type Arc into my Raycast, and I'm going to hit enter. Now, this is really neat. I'm not sure if you have sound on this video, but there will be some sound in here, and it does this. So after that, you have a browser. I mean, what kind of intro? You can see it's like lighting up my face. What kind of introduction to a browser is that? Well, that is a good introduction to a browser. I like it a lot. You know what? One thing I really like, their design touch. They make really good use of grain. I use grain in my colors to give them a little bit of life sometimes. And I was really happy to see that, like digital noise. It's not like film grain or something. It's digital noise. So meet the internet again, asks you for your name. Oh, I already have an account. So typically you'd go through the account setup. So I'm going to sign into my account, gmail.com, and don't send me anything to my email, please. That'd be great of you. Sorry, I got to get my password from my password manager. Okay, so we're in. It gives you this little card, which is actually really funny. So this card, it told me before my title here, it says Emo Ghost, which is a good one. But the title that it gave me before was like something tutor. And I was wondering if that was like a weird auto-generated thing. It is, apparently. So this is the browser. It's going to give you an introduction to this thing. Look at that. Oh, man, it's so good. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about in this video, and keep in mind, this is not an ad for Arc. I have no connection. This isn't a paid product as far as I know. I have no connection to Arc other than I used this thing yesterday and I was like, this is my browser. So what do you need to know about Arc before we get into the features? It's Chromium based. You do have access to all of your Chrome dev tools. You do have access to Chrome extensions, so you don't have to worry about, does it have my extension? It has ad blocking in by default. It has a lot of really great features, and it's designed really well. So why would you want to use it? It has features that no other browser has. It has a different approach to the layout of a browser. It's kind of flipped it on its head, and it's Chromium. It's fast too. I mean, it's Chromium, so it's fast without necessarily the Google bloat that you're going to get, right? Okay. So let's take a look at some of the things you can do. You can add your favorites up top here, which are just end up being like buttons. Now the favorites are fine, and I found these to be interesting, but for the most part, I use this just for my calendar, Twitter, and YouTube. But up top here are things that are called pins, and the pins are just pin tabs. I mean, you have pin tabs in every browser, but it's really kind of neat in this browser for specific reasons that we'll get into. Okay, so this is the browser. Let me go ahead and make this big for you. Wow, now it's full browser sized. Now, one neat thing about this browser is that you have when you do a Command T to, let's say, open a new tab, it doesn't just open a new tab, it brings up this command prompt. And this command prompt can give you access to a lot of things. You'll see extensions, easels, maybe frequently visited sites. If we type in level up tutorials in here, if we don't hit .com, it's going to search Google for it. I'm sure you can change that. I haven't done it. But there we go. You can see this is my site. Okay. And I want to pin this site because this is a site that I use every single day. I'm going to pin it. So I can pin it by selecting pin, or you can drag it. You can just drag it into here. This browser is full of neat little touches like that. In fact, one of the neat little touches, besides the fact that it's side tabs, is that you have what are called spaces. And spaces are areas that are essentially, you could think of them as tab groups. Now, what's neat about them being their own spaces, like Linux space or, and macOS has spaces, but what's neat about them being spaces is that I can, as you see, have my own development space, and you can give it an icon. I've given it this icon, which is the little dev tab. So I want to have the Level Up Tutorials site be my own, or I want to have a space that has pinned tabs that will always be there inside of my development environment. And then I can have my development stuff just here. And again, remember, this is Chrome, so we can inspect and have our dev tools here, no problem. And you'll see that I'm kind of swiping between here, right, like this. You can swipe like this with just a swipe. Now, it's funny, it has two spaces like this, space 1 and space 2, that are the exact same. And I would imagine that's because I've already installed this, and it kind of remembers some of my settings, so it did the initialization again. Now, what's also neat is that you have what's called a library. A library is your camera roll. It says screenshots, downloads, and your desktop will appear here for easy access, but you need to give it permission, okay? I'm not going to show that right now, but it's really pretty neat because it's basically a file browser in here, and you can choose what you give it access to. I don't know if it's something that I'll use necessarily, but it's neat that it's there. So there's that. And one thing that's really neat here is that if you want to do screen captures, it's baked in really heavily into this browser. So if I wanted to screen capture something to show it off or to talk about it with other people, you could do the Command T and do capture, and it's an option here. Or you can see it's Shift Option 2 or Shift Command 2. And this brings up this window. This is actually really neat where it like kind of auto selects certain divs. So you could say, oh, I really like this icon. I really like this feature. Let me go ahead and capture this feature. Then from here, I can save it to the library, send it via iMessage, retake, edit it, or put it into an easel. Now, easels are a whole nother part of this browser where it's like, it's like a little canvas here that you can do things with. And these easels are neat because it includes a link to the website itself. So there's a link to the website, but then you can mark it up and leave notes. So as a developer, this to me is kind of neat because I can make notes and say, ooh, this needs to change, this needs to be better, whatever. But then you can see I drew a little arrow, which you can tweak and, make pretty, whatever. You can add text, you can change the font on this thing. It's so good. I can't get over how thoughtful everything in this browser is. And that's really what it comes down to, is this browser is really thoughtful. Now, another neat thing is that these spaces can be designed in a way. For instance, each space can have its own theme. Right now, the theme is kind of like a no theme, which is going to adapt its background from the color of your website. You can see mine is like purple here. Or you can say, oh, I want this theme to be bright. I want this theme to be reddish. Or you can just drag it all around on this giant, like, I don't know if there's supposed to be a color wheel here and it's not being rendered, or if this is just their idea of a color wheel where it's like yellowish, greenish, bluish, reddish. Either way, it's fun. It's fun. I think this is neat. Like if you wanted to have a space that's this color of green, that's awesome. Or get this, you can do gradient spaces. These are gradient ones. And I think you can change these entirely. Yeah, look at this. I want to have my own gradient theme for this thing. And some of you might roll your eyes at this and say, who cares? But me, this is the kind of thing that I go nuts for. I can't explain it. And now you can change the intensity of this theme. You can make it's like making it a little bit more transparent, a little bit more iOS 10-y or whatever that was. And then you can even make it grainier. I love the grain. Give me that grain. Give me that noise. Give me that. It's awesome. And this is per space. So you see when I change spaces, the theme changes. And this can be great for visually representing something, right? And you might be thinking, hey, that's great. I kind of hate this sidebar. Boom. It's gone. Where is it? It's just on hover now. Oh, I just hover over here and it's back. Wow. And all of your things, all of your motions work here as well. So this thing so far, oh, and I should also mention there is kind of a tab bar up top here where you get your refresh button, you get your forward and back. There's also, you can get to your extensions, like I mentioned, Chrome extensions, but there's split options. So if you want to have side-by-side split tabs without having a whole separate browser window, you can do a split view just like you have in something like VS Code. So if I want to add something to the right, I could say, ooh, I want to go to YouTube on the right here, and now I have split tabs all within a browser window. There is some like dead space here, but you know what? It's not really enough for me to care about. One thing that I really enjoy about split view is that if you want another split view, you can just, how did I do that before? There was like a way that I like dragged out from another split and it created another split. Either way, you could split really easy from the command palette. You can focus on a new space. You can create a new space. You can split, add a split view. Here we go. We can have another split view, and now we have another split view. These are all so good. You want to close a split view, it's just Command W. You want to, I think it's, there we go, Command W, Command W. Looks like you got to hit that twice. I'm sure there's a shortcut to just straight up close it. But yeah, Chrome extensions. Let's get into the settings here really quick because I think we've covered just about everything else. This is like a first look. I really just started using this thing yesterday, and I'm already got to say, it's my new favorite browser by a long shot. I was using Safari before this, And I'm only doing a test. Everybody, they have feelings about Safari, but Safari in the latest version has gotten pretty good. And there is something to be said about using the browser that's the buggiest, and no shade at Safari, but if I have rendering issues with CSS, it's always Safari being weird. So if I'm going to develop on something, I almost kind of want to develop on the browser that causes the most amount of trouble. That way I can get ahead of it. And then I just know it's going to look good on Chrome and Firefox, right? So you can see some stuff here. The address bar is just this window. And I like that it's Command T rather than like, I use Raycast, and Raycast for me is Command Spacebar. I was a little worried about those colliding. They don't seem to collide at all. What else? Let's look at the preferences here. And actually, while we're here, just to show you how much I love this thing, I'm going to do set as default browser. Yes, use Arc. See you later, Safari Technology Preview. I'm using Arc. Okay, so look at the settings here. I can't really zoom in on this too well, but sync sidebar with iCloud, sure, let's do it. Tab syncing, you could bring in your information from your other browser. So if you want to migrate all of your bookmarks and whatever, it's a one-click. You can have autofill, offer to save passwords. I'm going to say no. Offer to save credit card information. I'm going to say no as well. Reason being, I use 1Password and I'm very happy with 1Password. There's also something called Little Arc, which is kind of funny. Little Arc is a smaller, simpler Arc window. It's perfect for quick lookups and reading funny tweets. I'm not going to use that, but I might as well leave it on. Previews. Show previews for pinned tabs. Cool. Updates. I'm going to check for updates, whatever. Archive. Auto close inactive Explorer tabs after 12 hours. If a tab is inactive and you haven't visited in a select period of time, you can auto close the tabs built into the browser. I've had extensions, and I'm going to set this to 7 days because 12 hours, I'll leave tabs open for months. So let's do 7 days. My hoarder instincts, they kick in, and I just want to save everything, right? Site settings. You could see that the adjust site-specific settings, this is just like telling you, I guess, to adjust site-specific settings, you just click on the lock and you can choose what you give it permissions and access to. That's the same with like every single browser. But actually, you know what I got to say? The nice thing is they make it really obvious and simple. Not only that, they tell you how to do it, but they make it nice. The interface is nice. Every other browser kind of makes this iffy. Okay, advanced. When opening Arc, restore Windows. Yes, when opening Arc, automatically load favorites. Sure, I'll take it. This is Arc, guys. This is Arc, and honestly, Safari Technology Preview, this has become the new browser for me to download Arc with because it's really good. I have no complaints about this thing. It's Chrome based, so it's going to be the exact same as Chrome, but you're not going to have all the Google stuff. It has the simplicity and ease of Safari and looks better than Safari, which Safari already looks good, but this looks better. The side tabs, I really like the side tabs in Microsoft Edge. That's one of my favorite browser features. So you might not be down with the side tabs, but I gotta say, once you get used to side tabs, it makes way more sense to have them vertical, and also being able to swipe through with the spaces, it's just awesome, right? Again, no contact with Arc. It's going to seem like I'm glowing about this thing. I'm just genuinely excited about it. In fact, I can't wait to just use it. Browse the web, right? But other than that, that's it. Join up for their waitlist if you think this is neat. It's a really cool product, and I'm really into it. So check it out. The website here, I believe, is thebrowser.company. Cool URL. And generally cool brand overall. Shout out to the designers at Arc. I mean, shout out to the developers too, because this product is polished. But shout out to the designers at Arc. Y'all are talented. Holy cow. Very talented. And the web developers, whoever made this website, I gotta find out because your team, you all over there at the browser company, have something going here. So shout out to y'all. I started saying y'all ironically, and now I can't stop saying it. So I'm sorry about that. Either way, check it out. And let me know what your thoughts are. Did you get access to Arc? Have you tried it? Is this thing out of its beta waitlisting period at this point? Are you all in on Arc? Let me know what you think. I think it's fantastic. I will see you next week as we talk about some more web tech in What is Wednesday.